Good morning, everybody. I'm just setting up. All right. I thought I'd put some music on and extend summer vacation and in this live. So, all right. I think we're ready to go. All right. So this live is going to be for the HR managers and team managers. Now, who warned you? Who warned you that one day you would be sitting across from someone and tell them their job is gone? And then slide a folder across the table ever so gently. A folder that somebody bought for him. Somebody who never met him. And that you would watch him open it and see his face and know immediately this is not going to help him. Does this sound familiar? Then this life is going to be pretty much for you. Hi, my name is Tanya with TP Talks Working Global, where we talk about what it really means to work across borders, lead, and move across borders as well. Today, what your company hands an international employee, a global employee, on the day they are dismissed or you let them go. Now, one thing first, and I want to be really clear about it. This is not a live about whether you should restructure. Now, that decision is made way up above, and sometimes there is no choice. I'm not here to make anyone feel guilty about this list. This live is about the 90 days after the list. I'm going to tell you about one man, I'll call him Danny, and about two people, well, actually the two people who sat closest to him, and what they told me what had happened. That's his manager and his HR partner. I'll tell you what each of them said to me. Their words stayed with me for a long time. Now, this is a real case, and I have changed the names to protect the innocent, and the numbers are pretty close. Now, here we go. His manager, I'll call her Sophie. She ran his team for 4 years, and this is how she described him to me. Danny grew up in Manila. He moved to Frankfurt 6 years ago. So he had both places inside him. He could speak the language, he could live the culture. He had this in him. Now, when Frankfurt sent him an email that sounded like an order, and Manila read it like an insult, well, guess what? Danny picked up the phone. And he picked up the phone not so much to translate the words, they were already in English, but to translate what those words actually meant. 4 times a week for 6 years. It was in nobody's job description, including Danny's. Now, HR saw a different man. Nadia, we'll call her Nadia, the HR business partner, was honest with me about it. She said none of that was in his file. His file basically said the following. Operations, he had a grade of 82 out of 100. He's been with the company for 6 years. He had no promotion in 3 years. And after the merger, his function existed twice. 61 names, 11 days. Now, Sophie told me she said one sentence in that room. And she said that he is more important than his job description. And they asked her, well, okay, fine, prove it, quantify it. But she couldn't, so the name stayed on the list. And I'm going to move past this quite quickly because I think this is not today's live. The list was final. It happens in every integration on earth. Letting him go cost them a great deal. The delivery, the resignation, the knowledge. That's a different live. What I want to talk about is the second bill. the one nobody budgeted for. Nobody saw it coming. How they let him go cost them a talent market. Now, if you're just dropping in, and we've been on this for a couple of minutes already, here it is in one sentence. Let me tell you this in one sentence. A man was let go. His name is Danny. That's completely normal. What his company gave him cost them, the company, a talent market. They're still trying to get back. Now, this is how. So, what did they give him? Nadia was the one who signed for it, so she didn't hide from that at all. She told me, I bought the standard package. It's a good provider, and the name everybody knows, and the provider's on a preferred supply list. They've got good reviews, good testimony, and it fit the budget. So Nadia said, I checked the box. And then she said something. That just kept on coming back again and again and again. She said, I never asked what was inside that outplacement package. Sophie did know what was inside because she watched him open it. She found out when Danny opened it the day of. And what was inside? A CV template, a local job board or boards, a workshop on interview and how to use LinkedIn, the name of a consultant with one-to-one and group meeting in a language he has already been working in for 6 years. Now, Danny was polite about it, she said. He thanked her, and this is the part that she still thinks about. And it's hard to get rid of that picture. And I want to say this next part really carefully, because I know some of you signed that same contract. The big generalist providers are really very good at what they were built for. A local candidate, looking for a local job, having the job descriptions and the job offers in a local market with consultants who are expert on the local market. However, Danny was none of those things. They were not built for this, and nobody tells you that when you're buying that outplacement package for global employees. There is no version of a local CV workshop that helps a Filipino German operations manager to work out whether his next job is in Frankfurt or in Manila, both, or somewhere else. This is not a small gap in the service. That is the whole job. Now, let's fast forward 6 months later. The full program completed, every single session. He did the work. He didn't complain. However, at the end, 0 offers. And here is the question nobody asked. Sorry, I get a little bit about it. Not once in 6 months. Which market are you actually targeting, Danny? That question was missing. Was it Germany? Was it Philippines? Was it both? Or was it somewhere else? Because the CV changes, the network changes, the position changes, the entire strategy of a job search changes depending on that one answer. And nobody asked. So he answered it alone one evening at 2 a.m. on a laptop while his visa was running out. It was tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tocking away. Something I keep seeing is most people who come to me have already completed an outplacement program. A full one, the whole kit and caboodle. Every single session, even repetitions of the same sessions. In my own client list last year, it was 15 out of 20 clients. They did not fail the program. It was that the program was not built for them. So now the part that should interest anyone here who has a budget. 72 hours. That is how long the story took to travel. Not in the press, in WhatsApp groups, in social media, in community networks, in expat community groups that have existed for 20 some years and that your employer brand team has never seen, nor the recruitment department. In that exact bilingual global talent pool that companies recruit from. Now, 6 months later, they were paying recruiters premium fees to reopen a market that had gone completely cold on them. And listen, Danny did not tell that story because he was let go. People are dismissed every day. He told it because of what he was handed on the way out. That is the second bill. It does not appear in the restructuring budget. It appears 18 months later in your cost per hire and in candidates who stop answering. Now, I'm really curious, has this ever happened to you? Have you ever gotten the surprise bill many months later afterwards, after the restructuring? Let me know. I'm really curious to know. Now, so there are 3 things. If you take nothing else from today's live, take these, please. The first one is ask which market. That's the first simple question. Before the CV, LinkedIn profile, before anything. For a global employee, an international employee, the question is not a detail. Not at all. On the contrary, it's the base, the foundation. Everything is built on that answer. Most programs never ask it because there are local candidates that don't ask, and there is nothing to ask. The second point is visa clock is a real deadline, not the notice period. Those are 2 different things. A standard job search timetable assumes that the person keeps looking for as long as they need to. However, your international employee cannot. There's a date and an after date his family leaves the country. A program that does not know that date is planning for somebody else. And point number 3, a network that crosses the borders, that is global, that's international. Local job boards and recruitment boards are useless to a man whose next job might be in a country he left 8 years ago. He does not need more application. He needs instructions and talks where it opens up the 2 markets in 2 different languages. Now, a quick question is, which one of these does your current outplacement provider actually do right now? I would love to know. Now, there is a Danny in every company that has ever restructured internationally. Usually bilingual or more, mid-level management, usually a person who has made 2 offices or more work. And he or she almost always gets a support package that was designed for somebody else. That is what I built. 6 months for people who have lived in 2 or more countries and speak 2 or more languages and who do not fit neatly into any single job market locally. If your company is restructuring and there are profiles like Danny on the list, let's have a talk before the letters go out, please, not after. And if you're not restructuring right now, this is the time to open your current outplacement contract and read what is actually inside, especially the fine words, the tiny little words, not the day the list arrives. You will have no time then. That conversation costs you nothing, and I'm happy to have it. You can do this alone. Many do. But if something today made you stop and think, I'm here. So, now this is a quite sensitive topic. So if you have questions, reach out to me personally. The question I do get most often is, we already have a provider. Why bother? We can't change now. You don't have to change anything. Ask them just one simple little question. What do you do differently when the candidate is targeting two countries? And listen, really listen to the answer. You will know within 30 seconds. Imagine 30 seconds, you have the answer and you save from the second bill. You won't have a second bill. Well, thank you very much for attending this LinkedIn Live after the summer vacation. I hope you found a golden nugget and I stay available for further talks. Until next time, keep your feet on the ground